Here's a few quick things about the Reveal the Shield Perceptor, which I think should more be like a Generations Perceptor, but you know. First thing, I think it's kind of cool that the trunk opens up like this, and if you put his feet straight forward, when you transform him into vehicle mode, you can kind of pop them out. Makes kind of like a little table or lab station type of thing in the back. Perfect for what a scientist research vehicle would have, right? So, there's that. And on his legs, if you'll notice, these yellow pieces for the window, which is kind of nice to have the transparent window, although too bad the gray ones are not yellow, or I prefer if I was just gray, I'll tell him anyway. But this tab right there gets in the way. You have to finagle it just right when you're transforming him, because it hits against his thigh, and it doesn't peg in anywhere in vehicle mode or in robot mode. They peg in with this green part there, so I don't know why it's there. So, quick tip, good old nail clippers. Line that sucker up. Bam. Gone. Don't even need to unscrew it or anything like that. You can trim it up, make it look even prettier if you want. Now, whoo, look at that. Still gotta put it like in its regular area. You got much better clearance. You don't have to do a whole bunch of hip swiveling and moving that over just to make it so that will come out. So, and I'm going to do it on the other side too. Instant replay. You want to watch that again? I'm just going to put the clippers right there. Clip. There you go. That one is nice and smooth. Here we go, see? And now on this part, this is just a precautionary. I haven't done it, broken anything on mine, but it seems like a weak area here because this is all a hoop, the way that it's attached, and I can see it breaking on somebody else's. So my tip would be when you're transforming his treads, fold them over so that they're around, but slide it down into. Let me show you this way. Slide it down into its place like that before clipping it into place, because then you do clip it into place, then it pushes against the pink here as well. You see that? As opposed to if you were flipping it around like this, when you put pressure on it right in here, then it's going to put angle on that whole piece that's not steady right there. So slide it down, then you can clip it in, and it'll help the longevity of your figure. And then the doors, of course, they come down and they peg into those two green notches right there. No yellow clear bit needed. Here we go. And on the backpack, I was actually disappointed at first because I thought it wasn't clipping in very well. His head, which pops up that way, which is a nod to the original one. Nod, get it, his head. This backpack part, there's a little black piece. See that little black piece right there? It does clip into the gray piece. When you look at the gray piece, you see there's a slot. It clips into that part right there. Now, at first, you kind of want to hold the gray piece in and push it till it clicks. The easiest thing to do is push this all the way up. See, so it's like up. This is the black window is butted up against it. Then you can push the gray piece all the way up, so his head's in there. Now, see that? It's locked into place. I mean, it has some play, but it's locked in at that point. That play gets taken out when you clip the rest of it in. See this pink piece? Clips into that black slot. Now mine it kept falling out, so I put some super glue on it. You can actually unscrew those two screws, and this piece right here will just slide off. Nothing else comes off, just that pink piece really. And you can slather it with glue, or you can just leave it in here and, you know, glue it while it's in place. But just make it a little thicker, essentially, is all you need. And then when you make sure it lines up, and you push it in, it gets nice and snug. So now, his arms, because mine shoulder joints are tight, and so when I used to bend them like this, the whole backpack would just flop up. Very annoying. So, if you want yours to be a tighter fit, try and put some super glue on that until it's a nice, tight, snug fit on the back there. And now with those two additions, make sure that the black slots and the black pegs in the gray slot, and the pink, tightening up the pink one, fits much better. And the last thing I was going to show is while he may be a research vehicle as opposed to a microscope, which everybody probably would have preferred in some fashion, and they did make his little chest that folds down, which is nice, and even this is molded like the little piece that folds down, even though it doesn't. Is that you can, fiddle with it. Make him into a makeshift microscope mode or a little lab area. You can turn his hips, put his legs out, very much like the original one. I actually like to unclip his backpack and there. Clip his backpack and flip this around. Make that look kind of like an eyepiece. And then he sits onto his backpack. Unfortunately, his hands don't hide, but you can kind of fold his elbows so that the knobs are up a little there. And so it's a very funky looking microscope, but you can see it's kind of a microscope mode. It's for those who are desperate for a microscope mode and Perceptor. Let's just say that. If you're desperate. If you're not, if you're happy with his research vehicle mode, then just stick with that. But for those fans of the G1 Perceptor that used to have fun looking at their little knobs turning and looking at Perceptor's thing, of course this tube, of course, look out, don't poke yourself in the eye. That's for Decepticons who try and analyze their amoebas inside Perceptor's microscope.